in the little village just found.
This is a photograph I shot in Onomichi, a quiet Japanese town on a hill right by the sea surrounded by islands. It's known for its narrow, winding paths, old wooden houses, and hidden shrines. And that is what I'm going to try to capture on a roll of Fujicolor 100 in today's episode. If you like photography, cats, friendly locals,
そう、ここ猫いっぱいいるんだよね。
or narrow paths, I think you might enjoy coming along. Let's go.
But trouble winds started blowing up dust.
This story took place in November last year, in the last 2 weeks of my stay in Japan. I was going to go on a little trip in the south of Japan with my granny to go see her hometown, but that is a story for another day. However, on the way down south, I decided to stop by a couple places. I visited some friends in Osaka and then went further down the island to go to a place that I actually didn't know anything about. I had been in contact with a local who basically invited me to go see the town where he lives. That is roughly how Onomichi landed on my list of places to visit. However, the thing is, I didn't do any research, I just decided to embrace the surprise. What was funny though is the people that I told beforehand that I'll be visiting Onomichi all had a similar reaction that was like, "Oh wow, that's such a pretty place." That made me very curious, of course, because I had never heard of it, but apparently it has a pretty good reputation. The city is just a little bit off track. Basically, you take the Shinkansen from Osaka towards Hakata, but get off in the middle at Fukuyama, and from there you take a slower local train to Onomichi. It was during this train ride that I realized it was a great decision to come. I had a splendid day in Onomichi, thank you to Yuya for guiding me through the narrow paths. On the next day, I was already going to leave and head all the way down to Kyushu. However, before leaving, I decided to strap on the GoPro and go on one more walk to share the beautiful sights with you and try to capture some more photographs of this town.
Good morning. Today I'm in Onomichi and this is the town on the hills over there. I didn't really know what to expect when I came here, but I am so positively surprised and I really want to share this beautiful place with you, so let's go shoot together a little bit of film.
So this spot here, where I was beginning my walk, is just around the corner from the train station and it's basically just ground level, and to the left is where the town just goes up and up higher onto the hills with lots of cute little paths to explore. Here I got a quick warm-up shot, quite an impulsive one I must admit, and it shows. I liked the scene developing in front of me with the three cyclists crossing the rails, however I had to be quick, which consequently didn't allow for the time I needed to realise that this shot wasn't going to be particularly good. I think the main issue I have with this one is that the sunlight is directing the focus, and that focus is at the background, not the actual subjects I wanted to capture. Here, I decided to walk up the path on the left, and right at the beginning of it, I spotted what could potentially be an interesting photograph. Here's the shot, and I like this one actually. My aim was to frame the lamppost and the mirror as the main subject while also showing the background on how this town just rises up higher and higher behind, with more houses, a random car to the left, and a big building in the distance. Then here, I was framing up a shot to see if this corner might be something I'd want to capture. As I was looking, this happened. I shot the photo impulsively again because the post-delivery biker randomly entered the frame and I thought this is a rare chance that I should just use instead of overthinking it and then possibly regretting later that I didn't shoot it. And now looking at it, I'm not entirely sure whether I like it. It's not bad, but also doesn't strike me in particular. Nevertheless, I'm happy that I used my chance. This is what I got, and it's alright. I appreciate the layers again that I was able to convey in this photo, however I kind of miss a subject of some sort that could just add that little something to the frame that would make this photo more interesting. That was the last shot of my current roll. So far I was still shooting the last frames of a roll of Kodak Gold, and now I decided to switch to Fujicolor 100.
あ、後ろにいます。そうね。そう、ここ猫いっぱいいるんだよね。ここに住んでいますか？ああ、じゃあ猫いっぱいいるんですよね。ああ、昨日も夕方散歩してた時に猫いっぱい会って嬉しかった。
暑いとあんまりいないけど。
ああ、で今ちょっと涼しくなって。そうなんだ。
家まで行くんですか？
ちょっと私どこに行ってるのか分かんなくて、まあちょっと探検していろいろ見ると思いました。はい、ありがとうございます。
After that friendly encounter with the local, I continued further up the steps and found this neat view over some roofs. This photo I think is quite nice. What I enjoy is how it perfectly captures the essence of this town. How at ground level it's a harbour town with many islands close by, and then here it just goes up and up with little paths such as this one. I don't know, maybe this song's a bit over the top. Let's try a different one. Bloody hell, what's going on?
This is FBI YouTube. You've used copyrighted music and for this
Hold up, no, I use Epidemic Sound.
You can't fool us. Epidemic is very 2020, my friend.
What? No, you know, Epidemic Sound, the royalty-free music licensing platform.
No idea what you're talking about.
Well, basically it's a website that I use to get all of my music for my videos. They have like over 50,000 tracks and some absurd number of sound effects. I think it was like 200,000 or something.
What kind of music?
Why would you want to know?
Answer the question.
Pretty much anything. Rap, jazz, country music, indie rock, or even, I don't know, something like hardstyle.
Oh, that's perfect actually. Did you hear that, guys? They only allow royalty-free music in HQ, you know.
What? Anyway, could you let me go?
Yeah, alright. But wait, 2 more questions.
What?
One of our guys loves hardstyle, but he hates drums. He wants only the melodies. Does Epidemic Sound do that?
I won't even ask. Yeah, that's no problem. You can just download the song, separate it into stems, and then, you know, just leave out the drums.
Great. One more thing. Our boss doesn't give us a big music budget. Do you have some discount code or something for us?
Only if you immediately let me go.
I'm afraid you're not in a position to bargain right now.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. Just use the link in my description to sign up and then use code TEO50 at checkout to get 50% off of your first 2 months.
Okay, thanks. We'll bring you back to your place immediately. Sorry for interrupting your day.
I'm just gonna shoot this because I love the divide of extreme green and then this grey path.
We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer.
This one's not bad, I think. While the view itself is not too special, the feeling I mentioned earlier, the feeling that I miss some extra subject in my photo, is perfectly counter-demonstrated here. And that was the reason for this photo. I wanted to capture the 3 workers here busy taking care of this place.
Barefoot.
ここって入れるんですか？
上上がってる。
あ、はい、上がります。ありがとうございます。
景色がいいです。
お、じゃあ見に行きます。ありがとうございます。
One big smile across my face. We used to dance our way to church on Sundays. Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kitten and maid. Take me back, all the way back to them days. Running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
I love the shapes of the shadows that the tree throws onto the wall of this house. I think this shot captures the warm autumn day feeling of this morning quite nicely.
A little bit downhill.
It's a bit tricky to see here now because the GoPro was exposing for the shadows, but in the bright area there was a person walking and I thought it might be a cool scene. Here's the shot. I like it. It's a bit random, but I love all the greenery, and the person is exactly what the composition needed. A person that acts as the main subject in frame, a sort of anchor for the composition.
Konnichiwa.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Then I'd reached a point on the hill that felt like this could be the top. I wasn't quite sure, but I just continued to explore the beautiful and quiet area.
Probably not my best shot, but it's cute. I want to photograph it. Very cute road.
After getting that shot, I was approaching something here. I spotted someone doing something at what appeared to be some kind of shop or so.
Konnichiwa. わあ、猫がいっぱいいるね。
そうですね。私が保護してます。
そうなんだ。
ここ8匹います。
おお、8匹もいるんですか。
この子らシェルターね、お家シェルター。
ああ、そうですか。それは偉いですね。よかった。猫たちがここで家を見つけて本当によかった。
はい。で、ここは8匹のシェルターですけど、私のお家ね、ここに12匹います。4ルーム提供。
すごい。
合計トータル20匹のオーナー。8年前に立ち上げまして自分でした。
すごいです。そう、猫ちゃんと一緒で写真撮ればとてもいいと思います。
そうですか。でもね、ちょっとどうだろ
う。とてもいいと思いますよ。
うん。
猫がそこに。こうやって撮っていいですか、みんなで。猫たちと。
So I met this wonderful, friendly lady who runs this little cat shelter. We had a splendid chat and I thought before moving on, it would actually be really sweet to get a portrait of her with one or more cats.
猫と一緒でがちょうどいいと思います。じゃあすみません、ありがとうございます。 じゃあ頑張ってください。
ありがとうございました。またいらっしゃい。
またいつか来ます。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
This is the photograph and I love it. I'm so happy that she agreed to a portrait with the cat and that she knew exactly which cat to ask, one that would actually listen to her. Quite atypical of cats, I'd say. That allowed for this photo that is kept quite wide and almost distant of the two, while keeping a lot of the shelter in frame too. I'm very happy with the outcome. This shot is a good example for the subjects being of great help in the composition, I find. The scene itself is not even that interesting, it's actually the people populating the scene that made me want to take the picture. I like how they add a sense of life to the place, and something that I think coincidentally works quite well is how two of the people are sitting in a similar angle but in opposite directions, which makes them in a way mirror each other. After that, I found a path that I thought would slowly lead down the mountain again. My intention was to walk down, but with quite a few detours of course to hopefully find some more shots.
Llegaste de la nada, cuando menos lo esperaba. Al encontrar tu mirada, ya estaba perdida. Con tu forma de hablar, sin miedo de expresar.
I kept walking for some time and eventually found my next photograph on these steps here. Right at the curve, the sun came in, highlighting that part of the stairs, which I thought looked quite cool, and that's reason enough for a photo, I'd say.
Very cute corner of light.
Su lugar había dejado de buscar cuando apareciste. Era el primer día de mayo. Todo estaba en movimiento. Una luz que iluminaba.
This photo is just supposed to capture the narrow ways and the character of Onomichi and being in the midst of it.
Sin ganas de amar. No pensé que iba a encontrar a mi otra mitad, pero apareciste.
Then I just followed some interesting path, but ended up at a spot that I had been to before, thus I ended up turning around again to go somewhere else that I hadn't explored yet. Here I passed those bikes again that stood next to these bushes. The first time I passed them I couldn't figure out a way to shoot them, but this time I decided to just go with something intuitive and get the shot anyway. Here's the result, and honestly I think it's lovely. I was intrigued by the dense bushes and how the bikes contrast them. That, in combination with the path, could make for a neat shot is what I thought, and I think by framing this as a vertical shot, it works pretty well. As I continued to walk through the narrow paths, I came across this cute corner of a house next to a gate where some plants grew and a red postbox resided. It was simply a very cute scene in my opinion, so I tried to capture that. This is the outcome, and I think it's pretty sweet. There's nothing especially creative or anything in regards to the photography, however it captures the feeling and the beauty of what intrigued me, and so that is the purpose of this shot. Here, I was about to pass a cemetery but decided to halt to see whether I might be able to photograph it. I think it's quite beautiful, and while the concrete wall behind isn't as much, I thought it might make for an interesting photograph because the whole frame is in this sort of monochrome look that isn't actually black or white, but because literally everything in frame is grey, it nearly appears to be. Behind this little house or shed or something, I spotted these two stones with writing on them and some pretty splatters of sunlight, and I decided to attempt shooting this scene. This is what I got, and I like this one a lot. It's such a pretty scene, and the composition simply flows well, I find. And in my opinion at least, the stones act as the subjects in this one. I don't feel the need for anything to be added, and that feeling of completion, I must say, is very satisfying. So I think this photo worked out well.
No idea if that was good timing of the shot.
Then, at this point, I was coming quite close to being back at the bottom of the hill, but before finishing my walk, I decided to check out one more spot. The composition here flows pretty well again in my opinion. It just feels balanced. A minor thing I appreciate is how the tree leans to the right of it. And with that, I reached the bottom and was back at the rails again.
Alright, I'm back at the park where I began. This was a very fun walk. I'm so happy that the sun came out. Good luck was on my side. So I hope the photos worked out, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
I hope you enjoyed coming along with me in this episode. I can highly recommend Onomichi as an interesting place to visit if you'd like to see a bit of a smaller place in Japan. Before saying goodbye, I would like to say a big thank you to the lovely people supporting me in my work on Patreon. Thank you so much to each one of you. If you're interested in Lightroom presets, color grading tutorials or anything like that, you can check out my page via the link in the description. Also, I have a print shop by the way, in case that is of interest to you, also in the description. With that said, I hope to see you again soon. Until then, goodbye!